Hello, I'm Kay Ross, and welcome back to my channel for Chapter 4 Booksperience of Space, Time, and the Shopkeeper. This is going to be a good chapter. I hope you're ready for some more excitement. Let's see, in Chapter 3, Watson came by again, and not on a Thursday. What's up with that? And he was looking for a book called Transportation Without Mode. We don't know what that's about. Maybe I do, but you don't. So, shall we find out what happens? Chapter 4, Another Dream. Arona stood on damp grass on someone's lawn in a rich neighborhood that she somehow knew was Pasadena, California. This could not be real, though it felt quite real. It was a dream. She was calm and confident. Her hair was loose and flowing in the dry breeze. It felt good. She couldn't remember the last time she'd worn it down. In her knower, Arona knew she was here to help someone. Somehow. A moment later, a young Asian lady came out of the back of the house in front of her, pulling a large trash bin on wheels. She wore jeans and a simple t-shirt, her hair pulled back. When she saw Arona, the lady looked startled and almost didn't continue forward. Arona smiled at her encouragingly. When the lady came up beside her, Arona handed her a piece of paper with a phone number on it and opened her mouth to talk. What came out wasn't English, though. It was some foreign language she didn't know. But again, in her knower, she knew something. She knew she was saying, take this number, call them, and tell them you are in trouble. They won't send you back to your country. They will help you. The lady nodded and stuffed the number in her pocket, then continued taking the trash toward the curb. Arona turned to leave. When she reached the edge of the lawn, her foot slipped on the wet grass, and she twisted her ankle slightly. Someone opened the front door and a lady called out, "Jasleen, hurry back! I need you to finish cleaning the kitchen." The door stayed open till Jasleen had hurried back. Arona hobbled off down the street, head held high, hoping Jasleen would have a chance to call soon and be rescued from slavery. Arona woke up to Clive licking her cheek. Anyone who has had a cat lick their cheek will know that cats will exfoliate your face, for free, quite expertly if allowed. She pushed Clive away before her cheek turned bright red. She threw back the covers. It was another beautiful oceanside day, and she felt somehow accomplished, as if she'd just completed something to be proud of. She set her feet on the hardwood floor, stood up, and screamed, scaring Clive halfway into the living room. Her ankle hurt. Her dream came rushing back. How in the world? The same ankle she had twisted in the dream was the one hurting now. This was ridiculous. Her body was taking this psychosomatic thing way too far. It was 2:00 in the afternoon. "Would you mind closing for me today?" Arona asked Kunda. "I've got an errand to run." "Not a problem. The children are at their sailing lessons until 5:30. Do you have a date with Watson?" Kunda's eyes twinkled in mischief. Arona's cheeks got hot. "No, just an errand." She didn't want to tell Kunda she'd made an appointment with a psychiatrist in a neighboring town. She wanted to see if there was something she could do about her body revolting and partnering psychosomatically with her dream life. Arona picked up her bag and tucked a light-hearted Mrs. Polifax mystery inside, in case the doctor kept her waiting. Her mother had recently recommended the series, and it was quite entertaining. "Just an errand," she repeated to Kunda and headed toward the door, favoring her ankle. "How did you say you hurt your ankle?" Kunda asked. She took Arona's place behind the counter, hopping up on the stool that was a bit too tall for her. "Slipped on something in the middle of the night. See you tomorrow." And she closed the door behind her before Kunda could ask anything more. "So you say all of this discomfort and dreams have been going on for about 5 days now?" Dr. Honeywell asked. She had beautifully coiffed dark hair down to her shoulders, warm brown eyes, and a long, flowy, bright orange dress that appeared transported by time machine from 1970. She carried off the dress amazingly well for someone in her 50s. At least that's the general decade Arona would have placed her. "Yes, ever since that irregular visited my store." "Well, from all that you've told me, and your past painful experiences and your present way of life, it seems to me that your inner self, your true identity, is attempting to come out. And somehow this visitor to your store was a trigger. I believe this inner longing you have to be brave, to express yourself, and be passionate is what is causing these psychosomatic symptoms. Our brains are capable of incredible things. On the one hand, this silenced Arona's fears that she was going crazy. On the other, she could feel herself starting to panic. Would she continue to have these crazy psychosomatic occurrences until she gave in and became expressive? Horrors! She didn't know which would be worse. How does that make you feel? Dr. Honeywell asked. A little nervous? Arona chewed on her lip. Dr. Honeywell waited quietly for Arona to say more. After a few moments of unaltered silence, Dr. Honeywell spoke again. Nervous about what? Can I go back to the way things were? I mean, before I started having these dreams. I've gone so far and been just fine until now. Can I get back to just being normal me? I'm afraid your psyche has been awakened to the truth of your desires. You would probably have to work very hard to squelch them again. You may be able to do it, but at what cost? Do you want to live in fear for the rest of your life? Do you want to keep your passions buried? Arona wanted to say yes, but she knew that was not the right answer as much as she wanted it to be. You mentioned that it felt really nice to have your hair down in the dream. Perhaps you could start there. That's it? Arona was fairly attached to her hairstyle and the bookkeeper flair it carried, but perhaps a small change like that would let out enough steam from her psyche to let her live her life in peace. That could be a good start, Dr. Honeywell smiled. Try to take some clues from your dreams. Notice what you do in them that makes you feel good, and then try them out when you're awake. It didn't sound so bad when she said it that way. I could try, she said. And she would. Maybe. At least once. Well, at least a hair bit. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of Chapter 4. I hope you'll join us next time for Chapter 5. But wait, there is still more. We have a behind-the-scenes section coming up right after a very quick word from our sponsor. Hello, it's me again, representing Widge and bringing you some new fun designs. I don't know about you, but I think it would be cool if we had other authors doing their books in the same way too. There may be a few out there already, but I'm not aware of them really. But I think we should make Booksperiences a thing. So what do we do? What to do? We need to get the word out, right? So I designed some fun t-shirts, book bags, and water bottles, which I hope you like. And if you have any other ideas for some, please comment below. I'd love to hear them. But so yes, these are the ones that I've made. They say, had a book experience lately? And then it gives a definition and immersive video reading by the author for you. Doesn't that sound fun? And yeah, so grab 1 or 2 or 3 or more, buy them for friends. Let's get this movement rolling, eh? All right, link is below. And now on to behind the scenes, one way or the other. Welcome back to Behind the Scenes, where we talk about some of the nitty-gritty stuff that were mentioned in the chapter. First off, we've got domestic slavery. Not a fun topic necessarily at all, unless somebody's getting help from that. And there are thousands in our country alone that are enslaved domestically, crazy, as domestic help, and even children sometimes. So yeah, something to be aware of. You can do some Google or AI searches to find out more about that. But one thing you might want to do is just slip in your wallet a little phone number for the human trafficking hotline that you can share with somebody that you think might need it. If you ever run across them, you never know. And all right, number 2 thing that we're going to look at is Mrs. Polifax. Oh my gosh, such a funny series. My mom did introduce me to that, as well as Arona's mom introducing her to that. So yes. Mrs. Polifax is this retired woman who inadvertently becomes a spy, travels all over the world, and haphazardly ends up helping to solve crimes. It's very funny. And she reminds me of my mom a lot, who at 80 plus still loves to go gallivanting around the world. But I don't think she's a spy. I don't think. Anyway, yeah, it's a fun series. And I'll put the links below to that one too. Yes, and Dr. Honeywell's discussion with Arona. How about that one? Arona didn't want to hear what she had to say, necessarily. Although deep down, maybe she did. Have you ever come across things that are just like asking to be dealt with in your life? Issues, dysfunctional things we'd rather not look at, but yeah, God might be kind of prodding at and saying, hey, don't you want to grow right here? Don't you want to grow? No. Don't you want to grow? No. Don't you? Yes, I do. I feel like that's life a lot. And yeah, so I think letting God help us and lead us into becoming all that we're created to be is such a blessing. And even though it can be a painful journey sometimes, it's so worth it in the end. And just a little funny tidbit. I was dealing with something, not to the degree that Arona was, but just this fear of not being perfect, of failing, of really letting some aspects of myself be seen, right? And I decided to give Arona those problems while writing the book. I didn't know how I was going to help her get out of them, but I painted her into a corner, which we are not there yet in the book, but I painted her into a corner and then was like, all right, God, you got to help me. And then I can help Arona and get her out. And he did. So then I was able to help Arona. And yeah, so I think it's pretty cool how God will help us when we want to change. Mm-hmm. So what's going to happen when Arona starts letting down her hair? It's not about her looks. Some people might think it's about her looks, but it's not, although it does affect her looks. It's mostly about what it represents. It's this tight hold on her emotions and her passions, and not letting things be expressed. And it's interesting to note there's some things that we do that are actually kind of symbolic of things that we are feeling or don't want to feel. Interesting. Anyway, so we'll see how this affects Arona. It's already kind of cracked through a little with her talk with the irregular. She's found herself talking more than she ever would usually to a irregular, especially. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our Booksperience for Chapter 4. I hope you have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it and had fun. I'm looking forward to Chapter 5 with you. And please leave your thoughts, comments, questions below. Those are always fun to read. So, see you next time. Make sure to subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and share this video with all your friends so they can enjoy it too.